If you have a Nissan GTR, you got a ton of money and you can pay for anything you want, cool. Good for you, brother. This video is not for you. Might as well just keep going. For everybody else, if you have a GTR or you plan on working on one, here's some tips that really might help you out. This is a new series all about how to work on brand new Nissan GTRs. So 2017 specifically, I'm gonna take off the front bumper, the side markers, the rear bumper, all the different little steps to show you how to modify the lights. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss those new uploads. And for everybody else, let's dive into it. What's up guys, this is Chris, you're back at FlyRyde, and I'm gonna show you the what, how, and why of custom automotive lighting on a 2017 Nissan GTR. Today we're gonna pull the bumper off. I'm gonna take you through some quick and easy steps you can do at home, and hopefully it helps a bunch of you guys out there avoid taking the car in and getting taken to the bank at the body shop. First things first, I gotta whip this car around and then I'm gonna pull it up on some little ramps just so that we can access the bottom side of the car with a regular floor jack. Nothing crazy, no special tools needed. So what Nissan wants you to do is take the car into a dealer. They're gonna put it up on a lift. They're gonna take off the lower tray from the front bumper and remove a million little bolts. It's gonna cost you a lot of hours of labor, or you can take some 2x4s. In this case, I just have them kind of cut down so that it's easier for the tire to roll up on it. Just pull up on there and then stick a jack underneath the car so you can pull the bumper all in one piece with the lower tray in your front yard, your garage, or your shop. The only real point of jacking up the front of the car is not because you have to actually have it off the ground. It's just to give your arms some clearance as you're working on the front. Because what we're gonna do now is take off a couple clips from underneath the fender liner. It's just easier to get down there with the tools if it's not right on top of your face. Now, there is one little piece that is pretty expensive. It actually makes this doable. There's an insert right here, and you have to have that special tool to go up into it. That's the special tool. It's just a little block of wood, just something that it makes it flat on the top of the jack so that it's not just kind of floating around under there. One thing though, this little side skirt can get pinched, so you want to make sure that the very edge of the jack itself isn't pinching down on that urethane, because it'll just probably mess it up pretty good. So you don't want to do that. No messing up expensive stuff.
Been a little too nice to y'all. Now I gotta up price for y'all. Snake guys on dice for y'all.
Now there are these weird little flush covers down here. They actually cover up the bolts, and you're gonna have to pry them off with your hand. Just a fingernail, pop them right out there like rubber. But sometimes these things get pretty beat up. I'll just make sure that they're back on there once you put everything back together, just to keep everything the way that it's supposed to be. All right, I think for the 17, you only have to take off 4 10mm bolts and then a 12mm bolt as well. This little tool, seriously, the best damn tool you could ever have if you have a GTR and you want to be able to take the parts off quick, especially these little 10mm bolts. I did the other video that talks about these things. The most important part is just don't rip them out. Push in on the little pin, they'll come right out. Super easy, but you gotta get your head down all up in there. We're actually gonna be putting this set in there after, so these will light up crazy bright, just like the new upgraded lightning bolt will. This part always sucks. I have to shove my arm way up into the front, and then I have to get a bolt right here loosened up. You don't have to remove it, you just have to loosen it. So to do that, I have a little 90-degree driver with an attachment and an extension, and for whatever reason, this is like the magical combo. I always talk about this thing. I've lost this and just gone out and bought another little set like this before because it makes such a huge difference to get your arm in there. This is the only thing that will stop most people from pulling this bumper, because they don't know how to get to that bolt. So the bad news is that side's even harder than this one because it's got the cooler right there, right behind the actual fender liner. But for this, you just remove one 10mm bolt here. It's actually a screw. So a screw here, a screw here, and then the last screw is there. So the first thing that we need to do is just pull this guy, and then we'll use an extension to hit this one, and then we'll use our arm all the way in there with this little handy guy to get the third one. So I like to get the fender liner started to clear right here first before I pull it off from the top, so then it can just release much easier. That's what's gonna allow me to get the extension up into this corner. This one notoriously falls straight down, so be careful when you're trying to get it. I think I'm gonna lose it. Oh yeah. Alright, so I just loosened it a few turns. That should do it. I don't think I have to actually remove the whole screw from it, but let's take off the last piece, which is in the engine bay, and then we'll take the front bumper off. I like to keep these in a separate box specifically because they don't look all beat up like the ones under the car do. So you want to keep the nice ones together and put the ones back under there that are supposed to be down there. Really smart move, get yourself some blue tape. You're gonna wanna tape this whole section right here because the inside of this where the side markers actually attach, it's all metal. And so in the process of taking off the front bumper, multiple people have told me that they've done this. I haven't, thank God, because I don't own a GTR, so I'm not trying to pay for repainting a fender, but they have accidentally not noticed that this was sitting on the fender and then moved it and it just eats into the paint hardcore. So we're gonna tape it up. We're still gonna be super careful, but either way, we're gonna run the tape all right there just to make sure that in the event that this thing does come into contact with it, it's tape, not paint. I like to tuck that side underneath here while I do the other side, especially if I don't have a second pair of hands to sit there and hold this thing. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just make sure that it's all tucked down under here, then I'm gonna jump back to that side, but ever more importantly is this tape to make sure it's totally covering the paint and the edge, and everything that I wanna protect right here. Another good trick too to make sure that when that side comes down, this side doesn't fall off or anything. I'm just gonna throw a zip tie very lightly right around the top, holding this to the actual car. Okay, so we're all set with everything ready to take the bumper off and set it down. Now granted, I have carpet right here. You don't want to set that right on anything that's going to scratch the paint on the bottom of the tray if you care about things like that. But in any case, I'm going to make sure that all the stuff is out of the way. And here's the total of what we should have. We've got 6 of these little guys right here, 10mm bolts, and we have 2 12mm bolts, and we've got a handful of clips on each side, actually 6 clips on each side. What'd you think? Did that look too hard? It's not that bad, but it does definitely help if you've got a little bit of experience. Personally, I think I've pulled so many bumpers that way, at least 100 of them, that if I ever have access to a lift anymore and a GTR, I I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm like, well, this is awkward. My hand doesn't... If you're a body shop and you're pissed off because I'm showing people how to do stuff in their garage, I don't know what to say. It's $200 minimum for anyone to pull that bumper, myself included. I don't even charge to do it anymore. It just takes too much time. So if you're a shop and you charge a bunch of money for that, good. You definitely should. It takes the right guy to do it. It takes the right tools, the right facility. I don't know. It's just, no, that's what this is about. This is about the guy that wants to do this for a customer and he's never worked on a GTR, or for the guy who owns a GTR and doesn't want to have to take it in every time he has to pull the bumper. It's not fun. You really do have to be careful, but that's 10 steps that will really help you out. I gave you some tool tips in there. And the last one where it's pulling the DRL plugs, it's just one of those stupid things that I figured I should throw in there even though I didn't touch on it in the video. Like always, I do hope it helps. I do hope that brought you some value. And stay tuned because we're gonna pull those headlights off. We're gonna modify them, open them up. I'm gonna show all the little tips and tricks for that as well as the rear of the car. So tons and tons of stuff coming. I don't want you to miss it. So if you didn't already, subscribe, hit the notification icon, and like this video if I brought you any value. Thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable.